So, full confession, I actually did this piece 15 years ago here in this very room.
Oh.
And it's from a play called Frozen, not the one about musical about the princess. Everything turns to ice. But a play that Michael and I ushered for with Brianna Byrne and Susie Kurtz and Lainey Roberts. And it blew me away. And so I worked on it way back then. And when I was trying to come up with something to do this time, I just couldn't stop thinking about doing this again. So it is a British play, and the character that I'm playing is Nancy. So I should have gone round myself with those garden shears. Mother and I have never seen eye to eye on shrubbery. I'm prune to a dormant bud, but she'll be instigating a slash and burn regimen. She's let her clematis montana alba do its own thing. I said they like their feet in the shade and their head in the sun. But she's plonked it in a south-facing bed, sandy soil, and it's gone on the rampage into the neighbour's speciality alpines. I offered to go round tomorrow and cut it back for her, but she said, it's Bridge North tomorrow. Always leaves it to the last minute, and then it's got to be done this minute, now, immediately. So I asked for volunteers, but that's like asking someone to sign up for active service. Bob's got Nautilus training. And what's that all about? Been very happy with his flab up until now. And they're always so very partial to your love handles every time we have a cuddle. But, well... So I need one of the girls to look lively, but Ingrid's off grandma at the moment because of the makeup question. So I think it's easier all round to send Rona, but Rona's so good and I always put on her, and I try to be fair. So I gird my loins to tackle Ingrid in spite of it being like negotiating with Attila the Hun these days. I've just taken a deep breath when suddenly, crash, bang, wallop, holy war breaks out upstairs. What is it now, I go? And that's when Bob slithers out the door. I hear the door click as I get up the stairs. He's so secretive these days. No, goodbye then, Nancy love. Meanwhile, in the war zone, a Max Factor thick lash mascara wand has gone missing from Attila's private drawer. And who's suspect number one? So Ingrid goes to Rona's room to obligingly fetch her for me, drags her back by her hair. So I separate them and look at the young one. She looks like a panda. Great black rimmed eyes. So I say to Ingrid, well, go on, give her a bamboo shoot. Wrong thing to say. Mom, Rona's not funny. You should take this seriously. I said, who takes me seriously about a ceasefire to all this fighting? And then I pop in, why, Ingrid, why don't you go round to Grandma's for a bit of peace? And I've almost got her hooked when I add, and you could take the garden shears while you're at it. And she's off again. I'm just an unpaid slave around this establishment. I wish I was an orphan. I wish somebody would adopt me. Nobody loves me. Everybody loves Rona best. So I say, hopefully, now stop all that nonsense. I love you both equally in different ways. I don't. I don't love either of them at the moment. Or Bob, any of them. They can all go to hell for all I care. But anyway, somehow it happens that Ingrid's got me letting her go out, and chain of command puts the youngest soldier on garden shears duty. Little panda. Ugh. Mother's going to be thinking I let her wear makeup too young and be reading the riot act. That's why Rona's not back yet. Yes! But that's not why Rona's not back yet. Rona's not back because a man by the name of Ralph Wantage has abducted, raped, and murdered her. Mm-hmm. And it will be 20 years before Nancy finds out what happens to her daughter. Oh. And in those 20 years, Nancy founds an organization called Flame that searches for missing children. And it has successes, but not in finding Rona. And in those 20 years, Ingrid turns to spirituality to deal with her grief, and she lives in an ashram for a while and then comes back home. And during those 20 years, Nancy and Ingrid continue to have a very difficult and contentious relationship. And at the end of those 20 years, Ralph Wantage makes a mistake. He is caught and arrested, and the remains of his victims are found, including Rona's. And they are being kept in a mortician's chapel of rest as evidence until the very lengthy legal process can be completed before they can be released to the family. And this is where we pick up our story. Well, we've just come from the chapel of rest. I said, I can't stand this, nothing's moving. And Ingrid says in her new, quiet, round voice, let's take some stuff down there then. Our stuff. Give her some protection. Just now. I thought they'd refuse. Red tape, sub judice, etc., etc. But no. The mortician takes us right into the chapel of rest. Her coffin. Ingrid says, we've got some things, we'd like to put them with her. You draw the line at that, get shirted. No. Takes a screwdriver out of his top pocket, unscrews the lid, takes it off and stands with it. There are 2 cardboard boxes, different sizes, DIY system archive type. We've got them at the Flame office for files. Ingrid points at the smaller one up the head end and says, is that her skull? He nods. She says to me very quiet, go on, open it. It's beautiful. I take it out of the box and hold it in my hands. And I can feel her head. Its shape and texture and resilience. And I am flooded with joy. I say to the mortician, it's beautiful. And he just nods, because he knows it is. Well, everybody would know that, he would know that. After a while, I hand it to Ingrid, who says, this fantastic brown it is. And she holds it here for a long time. And then she puts it back in the box with Rona's witchstone, closes the lid. Bigger box. Parts of her they managed, I thought, top of the arm, collarbone, leg. In there we put a piece of gorse off her nature table, sheep's wool wrapped in it, place you love to go, windy hill. And daft really, but Leo the lion. I go to the chap, guard her, keep her safe. And we all smile. All the lids go back on the boxes, and I say, thank you. He says, no problem. Wish more people could be then we come outside to this place, a handy little parky garden place. I feel at peace. We're holding hands, me and bloody Ingrid. And she says, "Now, Mum, be in the moment." And I say, "What, Petal?" And she says, "Mum, you're in a very bad space. You've got to let go of your anger. You've got to move on. If you hold on to your rage, it will consume you. Let it go. Make space for other things to enter your heart." She's got this new way of talking. It's like listening to a diet and exercise. So I say, "What do you want me to do?" Because that's how you talk back to her. And she says, "What I think we need to do is to forgive Ralph Wantosh with all our hearts." I said, "I want to slap you. I want to spit in your face. I want to scratch you. I want to tear your eyes out." She said, "She's been dead for 20 years. It's long enough. Let her go." I said, "I just did. In there." I couldn't bear to look at her. And then she said, "I think you should go and see him. Tell him you forgive him." I said, "I'll go and see him. I'm taking a gun. Blow his brains out all over the wall. I'm taking a knife. Stick the blade through his eye and take out the brain that thought the thought to do what he did. She was my little girl." And she said, "So was I." Forgive that monster. I can't do that. How can I do that? It's too much. It's too much. It's too much.
Oh my God.